Welcome to rSlash Relationship Advice, where OP discovers that her boyfriend is feeding her slugs. Okay, so I don't do a lot of trigger warnings in my stories, but in this story, I feel I need to warn you guys. This story is disgusting. It shows some horrific abuse. So if you're really young, you may want to skip this story. If you're eating, you may want to skip this story. But if you think you've got the stomach for it, then buckle up, because this story is a wild ride. This next post is, it's something else. Hold on to your butts. I found out my partner has been putting slugs in my food, and I don't know how to forgive him. I'm a 22-year-old woman, and I've been with my partner, a 24-year-old guy, for 4 years now. I've never known him to do anything like this, but I noticed that he started acting a little strange around a month, maybe a month and a half ago. He started putting fruit on the floor in the garden, and I thought that it was a bit weird, but he said that he was feeding the mice family that have nested in our sheds, so I thought that it was sweet, and I helped him do so. Anyways, he started being really nice to me around 2 weeks ago, was making me food, baking me cakes and stuff. And normally, he never cooks, so I was happy that he found a new hobby. I did notice sometimes that I felt sick and dizzy after eating, and I just put it down to lack of sleep and hormones. Anyways, a friend of my partner's came into work today and said that he needed to speak to me when I was free. He told me that my partner has been collecting slugs from the fruit that he's been putting out there and putting them in my food. He's been blending up the slugs. He even sent this friend pictures of a bag of slugs that he had collected and pictures of the blended slugs. I felt really sick to my stomach. I don't understand why he would do this. This is so out of character for him. I asked him why he was doing this, and he accused me of snooping through his messages, which I didn't do, and then he got angry at me for not being able to take a joke. I feel disgusted. I love him to pieces, but I just don't understand his way of thinking. Am I overreacting? I don't know what to do. I feel lost. Didn't some guy die from a slug? Kid eats slug and dies? Am I making this up? He ate a slug on a dare, became paralyzed, and died. An Australian teen rugby player who ate a slug on a dare and became paralyzed 8 years ago from rat lungworm disease has died. Rat lungworm disease? That sounds awful. It's a parasite that lives in snails, and if a human eats them, they get into your central nervous system, where they can cause brain damage, nerve damage, or death. Holy sh*. And then, after he gets found out, this guy has the absolute audacity to get angry at you for snooping through messages and not being able to take a joke. Is this guy like a literal sociopath? Is he actually a sociopath? And I've got to say, the friend of your partner who ratted him out is an absolute bro. This dude, honest to God, might have actually saved your life. He may have saved you from brain damage, paralysis, nerve damage, death. I gotta say real quick, huge kudos to him, because the fact that he immediately took this information to OP is awesome. Big round of applause for that guy. And then OP posted an update. I went to urgent care last night and was finally seen around 6 a.m. I had some tests done, and I have high levels of metaldehyde in my blood. I was kept in for monitoring, and I have some ulcers in my stomach. I was aware of this anyways because I was hospitalized about 2 months ago for a burst ulcer. I originally thought that it was stress, but they now said that it could be because of poisoning. I could have an infection of some kind because my temperature is high, but they haven't found anything that could be causing that yet. They've checked my heart and it's fine, and I'm due to have heart surgery this year, but they're delaying it due to ulcers and infections and the fact that I keep getting sick, which is okay. I have an appointment to see my cardiologist on the 20th of April. Oh my God. This guy was feeding slugs to someone who was due to have heart surgery? Okay, I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything about eating slugs or heart disease, but to me, just as a layman, this kind of sounds like attempted murder, like straight up. Feeding slugs to someone with a heart condition and ulcers. Ulcers, I think it's a hole in your stomach, right? So if you drank blended slugs. That's got to make it easier for slug juice to get into the rest of your body, right? Oh my God. I contacted the police and wrote a statement, and they asked me some questions. My ex refused to say anything to the cops or me. However, he did say that he would speak to his friend and only him. My boyfriend then spoke to me. He confessed to doing random experiments on me and tests starting a few months after we moved in. It started with spitting on my toast, and then the week later, he replaced my propranolol, which are my beta blockers, with salt in the emptied capsules. Okay, I'm looking up beta blockers. These are drugs that prevent the stimulation of the adrenergic receptors responsible for increased cardiac action. Beta blockers control heart rhythm, treat angina, and reduce high blood pressure. So, this is heart medicine. OP was taking heart medicine for her heart that she needed heart surgery for, and he was replacing her heart medicine with salt. Okay, yeah, this literally feels like attempted murder to me. Let me know in the comments if I'm completely misreading this, because this literally feels like attempted murder. I want to add that he was the person who held my medication because I have a history of suicide attempts. So he handled my meds and gave them to me, and that's when he thought that it would be funny. He also admitted to the following. He also replaced my vegetarian nuggets with real ones. One of my pet giant African land snails went missing in the summer, and I assumed it escaped as I left the lid open on their box. But he said that it had died, so he scraped it out and put it in my curry. I vaguely remember the day that he did this, because he laughed whenever I went to eat the curry, and I got really paranoid. So I put the food in the kitchen and stormed off. Then he brought the dish upstairs and told me to taste it, and I did. And I realized that he had added loads of chili to it, and he was laughing because he put chili powder in and too much came out. Now I think that he must have put the chili in there to cover the fact that he put my snail in there. He also said that he rubbed my toothbrush on the toilet, but then washed it because he thought that was too far. It feels like this is all a dream. It just seems too dramatic to feel real. I'm unsure of what's happening on the legal front. He says he doesn't know why he did this, and that he does love me truly, and that he felt compelled to do it. Which I do understand because I suffer from OCD, so I get compulsions. He says that he really loves taking care of me, and he feels it's his purpose, and he didn't mean to cause serious harm. He promises that he's never done this to any of our animals. I think he could just be stressed because I have mental health issues that could have caused something in him to break from too much stress. OP, no? No. No. Just no? Like, this isn't an argument. There's no argument to make here. No, this isn't him snapping from too much stress. This is just him being an insane psychopath. Then OP posts another update. I just found a jar with 4 slugs under my sink that my partner must have forgot about. They're dead, so they must be old. And then, sure enough, she posts a picture of some dead slugs in a jar, which I'm not going to post on my YouTube video because just looking at this picture is making me physically ill. OP further adds, he was diagnosed with ASPD yesterday. Antisocial personality disorder is a mental health condition. People with ASPD may not understand how to behave towards others. Their behavior is often disrespectful, manipulative, or reckless. It is characterized by disregard for other people. Yeah, no kidding. So I just typed into Google, are antisocial people psychopaths? And psychopaths are considered to have a severe form of antisocial personality disorder. So, okay. So this guy's like a diet psychopath? Okay, anyways, back to the update. He admitted everything to me and how I was his way of looking normal to the outside world. He manipulated me by giving me everything that I wanted: love, affection, and compliments. He began testing me emotionally at first by cheating to see how I would react, but I forgave him. Then he began with the food stuff to see how long until I got sick. I just feel baffled. The person I thought I knew, I never really knew at all. He's a psychopath, and he gives ASPD sufferers a bad name. He knew that I was vulnerable due to my mental and physical illnesses. He became my caregiver, but he was torturing me at the same time, and I was unaware of any of this. He rescued me from an abusive situation and then put me into a new one. That's how he works. Then we have another update. OP says, I'm struggling to eat, I have a fear of food, and I have no appetite. I recently left a weird relationship where my partner was contaminating my food. Anyways, ever since, I've struggled to eat. I moved into a ground floor apartment, and sometimes I'll find slugs around the house. I'm terrified of them, and I keep throwing food away because I don't know what the slugs have gone on top of. I'm scared of getting sick. I can't cope or breathe right now. I've tried everything to stop slugs getting into my house. Copper tape, salt, non-toxic pellets, but they somehow find their way into my flat. I feel like nature's tormenting me. Any advice, please? And then OP posts a final update. I'm alive, everyone. Hello, everyone. Sorry for those who I didn't get to message back. My messages have been so full. I'm alive, but I've been sick with coronavirus. Thank you for those who reached out to me. You all made me feel less alone. I hope everyone's well. OP, I am deeply, deeply relieved that you were able to escape that situation. This is one of the weirdest things that I've ever read on Reddit. I've read some really awful posts, some really disgusting, stomach-churning stories, but this one is one of the top 10, bottom 10? One of the bottom 10 worst, awful stories I've ever read. I'm very relieved that you were able to see that this guy is nuts, man. An absolute manipulative. He belongs in some sort of institution. Jail? Certainly. A mental ward? Possibly. Isn't tampering with food a felony? I feel like feeding someone slugs against their knowledge when they have a stomach condition and a heart condition, and when slugs have some sort of awful parasite that can paralyze and kill people. This sounds like attempted murder, man. This guy needs to be charged. He needs to go to jail, because I have a suspicion that this guy's going to keep doing this in every single relationship he's in for the rest of his life. He fed OP her pet. She had a pet snail, and he cooked it and fed it to her against her knowledge. Wow. Everyone, I'm sorry that I put you through this story. Actually, now that I'm at the end of it, I paused it. I walked away from the computer for a little bit. I actually seriously considered, do I want to publish this story because it's disgusting? But I decided to go ahead with it because I feel like people who are abused often don't know that they're being abused. So stories like these can help people understand, hey, wait a second. This, what's happening in this story feels kind of similar to what's happening with my partner. Maybe I'm being abused as well. Anyways, I'm so sorry for reading this story. What a terrible day to have ears. I'm a 23-year-old guy, and my wife, who's 26, can't separate kink from everyday life, and it's getting embarrassing. I love my wife. This is not a divorce-worthy issue. It's just very embarrassing. Without going into specific terminology or detail, I dress as her doting wife, and she acts as a degrading husband to me. If you're going to comment to make fun of me for this, please don't. It gets a bit weird. We used to just do this sometimes, but the quarantine has let us do this 24/7. Anyway, the issue. Sometimes she will passingly call me an offensive or feminine term outside of play, or she'll insult my masculinity in some way. I tell her that she can't do this during a normal day, and she apologizes, but she inevitably ends up doing it again. She says it just slips out, and I can forgive that, but when she calls me princess in front of my mom, I just want to die. It would have been worse if it was a serious insult or something, but that very well could have happened too. This has honestly stopped me from enjoying it. I miss vanilla passionate hugging. I told her that I don't want to do this anymore, and she's disappointed but also respectful, and she still messes up. Is there any way I can drill this into her head that this is only okay in the bedroom and I'm very much a guy who doesn't want to be called these things in a regular setting? Just telling her doesn't work. There's a part of me that's worried that she's permanently lost respect for me and may not even see me as a man anymore. Is there some psychological reason why she's doing it? Can it just slip out? Down in the comments, we have this comment from Rope Wonderful. My wife and I engage in a similar kink in that she likes to be called nasty, degrading, and humiliating names. Some of which, if I were to call her in front of other people, would probably cost friendships. We even have a favorite pet name of sorts that I call her during our intimate sessions. Never have I come close to accidentally using any of those names in public or outside of play. A lot of those words aren't in my normal vocabulary. Sure, accidents happen, but not often. Along those lines, I, like a lot of other people, grew up using the F word as an insult or even just jokingly calling my friends that. When I realized that it was wrong to use that word, I stopped saying it. Sure, I still thought about using that word at first, and I'll admit that I said it once or twice after I made the decision that I wanted to stop saying that, but it wasn't that hard to cut out. Please make sure that things stay consensual and express to your partner that this isn't okay. You have boundaries, and that's good and healthy, and you deserve to be respected. This isn't something to just brush off. If she called you an ex's name, would that be okay? No, of course it wouldn't. Yeah, I completely 100% agree with this second poster here, because when I was like a kid in high school and middle school, the premier insult that everyone used was to call something gay. Like you'd say, "Oh, you got assigned extra homework? That's gay." And yeah, after a while, you realize, hold on a second, maybe that is not the best insult to use because it's very, very insensitive to gay people. And ever since I left high school, I've never heard that insult again. Why? Because it's easy to not call people insulting things by accident. Once or twice, ever, I can understand, but repeatedly, no. That was rSlash relationship advice, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.